All right, welcome back to the Surfside Recovery Podcast. My name is Brian Licata. Ian is over there in his nice green shirt with a cigar. He's popping at the seams to smoke a cigar today. It's, I don't know, pretty warm out. It's pretty nice. So I'd like to, first and foremost, thank everyone for your kind ratings on my summer shirt, Cruise Wear. I think I'm at an average of like 8.5 on the first shirt.
Everyone's just being kind.
Well, I mean, even so, I enjoy it. Thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my summery heart. Thank you for the shirt. I wore an Anchor shirt to my dad's birthday the other day.
Start recording all over again.
Huh? Why?
Because Wilma.
Oh, barking? Well, we gotta shut the door or something. I like that opening. The opening was smooth, so let's just keep it rolling.
All right.
Yeah. This is this is an informal thing, you know? It doesn't have to be super clean, super pretty. I want it to sound and look good, but, you know, a little dog barking in the background.
Never hurt anybody.
No. So do you wanna break the news to everyone of what has been going on in my life the past couple days? You want to just
I would rather talk about your shirt.
What do you want to say about the shirt?
I think everybody's just being kind. I don't think they're all legitimately giving you a 10. Like, I mean,
most of them have been my family members.
I know. The ones who have gotten you the shirts.
Hey, I'll take it, man. I'll take a compliment anywhere I can get it.
That's like the kid who gets sober who's like, I'm 30 days sober. I should get my car back. It's like, no, dude, you're 30 days sober. You've been getting high for 10 years.
It's not even remotely close to the same thing.
It's like the same thing.
No, it's not.
It's the same thing. All right. Brian's shirt. Brian does CrossFit, everyone. That's the big announcement. It's 100% official. Brian Licata has been to 3, count it, 1, 2, 3. That's Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. 3 CrossFit classes in a row. 8:30 in the morning, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, at CrossFit OTG over in here at Egg Harbor. Brian also, fun fact, has gotten himself a 6-month membership.
Yeah, me and Beatley were talking about it this morning that it'll be Thanksgiving by the time our commitment is over.
I won. It's official.
See, so this is like a pretty much a classic drug addict alcoholic.
Go ahead, talk about it. I want to get something going.
It's a classic contempt prior to investigation situation. And it's one of those things that I've always wanted to work on, but never end up managing to do. Like, I'm really, really quick to say about how stupid or bad something is with knowing absolutely nothing about it. Oh my God, he's got a big book. But it's true though, you know, it's so funny how you think you don't want to do something just because you think it's dumb or whatever preconceived notion, but it always ends up being the things that you enjoy the most. I haven't been consistently in a gym since my freshman or sophomore year of high school, so that's 2005, 2006. And now it's been 3 days in a row. And actually, by the time that this podcast actually gets released, so that the following Sunday, I'll have like 2.5 weeks in by that point. 2 weeks in, something like that. What do you want to read?
Well, so in and maybe this is what we could talk about. In a podcast or two ago, I said something like, you said, "Oh, I'm not going to like it or whatever," and I said, "Oh, well, that's newcomer thinking," and you got kind of offended. But so what I meant
I hate
by that,
when this happens.
when I'm right, everybody
dude.
hates when I'm right. I just got a lot more experience on people, you know, that's really what it comes down to. So we talked about, I said to Brian, like, it's newcomer thinking, which basically is this idea that like newcomers are delusional and they have these brilliant ideas and these great things and they think they know what's right. And the truth is, like, it's not based in any sort of real experience. It's just based in an opinion. Or an assumption, and we know what they say about assumptions. When you assume, you make an ass out of you and me. So, this is the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. Multiple different 12-step fellowships use it as their basic text. Heroin Addicts Anonymous, Drug Addicts Anonymous, Crystal Meth Addicts Anonymous.
Cocaine Anonymous too.
Excuse me, Cocaine Anonymous, parts of Al-Anon use it. Family groups.
I didn't know that.
Overeaters Anonymous uses it. Gamblers Anonymous use it. So basically, this is like one of the major textbooks for 12-step recovery, for those of you who don't know. In the very back, there's Appendix 2, this is Appendix 2 is titled Spiritual Experience. I'm just going to read a couple of things here. It says, most emphatically, we wish to say that any alcoholic or drug addict, for that matter, capable of honestly facing his problems in the light of our experience can recover, provided he does not close his mind to all spiritual concepts. He can only be defeated by an attitude of intolerance or belligerent denial. We find that no one need any difficulty with the spirituality of the program. Willingness, honesty, and open-mindedness are the essentials of recovery, but these are indispensable. There is a principle which is bar against all information, which is proof against all arguments, and which cannot fail to keep a man in everlasting ignorance. That principle is contempt prior to investigation. And so it's like that's like a couple things that's like really, really, really important. And right, like this is saying, like, for years of working with this literature and really helping people to understand it, there's a lot of these statements that are like one statement is contingent upon the next statement, right? Like,
right,
you will be dehydrated if you stop drinking water. Period. Right? It's like you're only going to be dehydrated if you stop drinking water, right? It says like, an alcoholic can honestly, if an alcoholic is capable of honestly facing his problems in the light of our experience, he can recover, provided he does not close his mind to all spiritual concepts. Some of these spiritual concepts are willingness, honesty, and open-mindedness. And then it goes on to say that this principle, contempt prior to investigation. I did a lecture at the local rehab this week, and we talked primarily about contempt prior to investigation. This idea that, like, I don't like that, or I don't want to do it. And we really talked about it in terms of 12-step recovery. But I mean, think about the guys coming into Surfside and like some of the things that we do that they don't want to try, not because they don't like it, but because they haven't done it. Right. And that's the thing with CrossFit. Like, you had an experience, not an experience with CrossFit, but you had an experience with the gym, which
right,
is, for you, it was very boring. And like, what do I do next?
Yeah, a lot of it came from lack of like knowing what type of workouts to do, lack of knowing different exercises, and also the fact that I hadn't done it in so long. Like, the only time I was ever in a gym for any period of time would have been when I was playing baseball for like the first 2 years I was in high school. And then after that, I just, didn't go. I like being active, like we talked about. Like, I like playing basketball and other like sport type stuff, but I think there's always a little bit of fear about going into like an actual like gym workout.
And not knowing what to do.
Exactly. So I give the guys credit over there, though. They're really great when new people come in the door. And
that's part, like, to be a CrossFit gym, like, you pay for that name.
Right.
That is part of the way it works. So what's your experience been? Like, how can you relate your experience with like these first 3 classes to recovery? Like, how has it been?
Yeah, so I think the first
let's talk about the first class. Like,
so,
because also, just so you know, were we doing CrossFit when you were in Surfside?
Not as a resident, no. But when I was working there.
But we've been doing it.
Yeah.
And so we do it with our residents on Saturdays. I invite our staff, who's working or not working for that matter, to come along to try it. Some do. Some do not.
Right. Yeah, I'm a beach guy. I'm still a beach guy. I try to get out for at least an hour a day in the summertime.
So anyway.
So prior, like I already talked about how like, just gym stuff in the past, blah, 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 blah. So actually what happened was I texted Andrew in the morning, I guess on Tuesday, and I was like, yo, we should do CrossFit. Because I've come to the realization that like I work from home, I'm at a computer all the time. I need to do some sort of physical exercise or I'm going to get real out of shape really fast. So I just celebrated my 28th birthday. So I'm kind of getting this like, oh my God.
Happy birthday. I don't think I said happy birthday.
I think you did actually.
Did I?
Yeah. Thank you for that, by the way, though.
Sure.
It was only a month ago and a half ago, whatever. Anyway, so I texted him. I was like, yo, like we should do this because, so what happened is how this all spawned is you called me out on the podcast, right? And then I posted the clip And then my dad commented on it. And then my father also bust my chops about it when I was at his house for his birthday last week. So that's what got me thinking, like, all right, boss is, getting on me. Now my father's getting on me. Like now I got to go.
Well, and also I was trying to do a corporate membership basically. And it's not really a corporate membership, but basically Surfside as an organization, like we very much believe in health, mind, body, spirit. We've done a couple things recently, like adjusted some schedules, brought in some more staff, really trying to give people a quality work experience, and back when we were going to offer health insurance and not everybody wanted it, we gave people slight raises based on what we would pay. But I was basically saying, like, look, Surfside will pay your monthly CrossFit membership. We will pay 75% if you go to 20 or more classes a month. We will cover 75%. If you go under 20 classes, you will pay the whole thing.
See, I like and dislike the way you did that, because it's like, wow, like 20 is a lot, 5 days a week, every week. But if it wasn't like that, I wouldn't go.
Exactly. Well, and that's the thing. And we don't want to be just paying for someone who wants to go once or twice a week.
Right.
A CrossFit membership's not cheap.
Right.
However, if you go, if you go 5 or more days a week, it's like $7.50 a class. Like the amount of and it drives me nuts when people are like, oh, I can't afford it. But they'll go and buy, 2 Monsters and a sandwich at Wawa for $10 or $20 every day.
Right.
So, it's not that people can, it's that they misdirect their money, but whatever. So I sent out this email to staff, said, look, do you want to do this? And really only 2 people responded. This was like a month ago. The 2 people responded were 2 people who already had memberships, Jared and Nick, who've been going for quite some time.
Right.
So then you and Andrew showed a little bit of interest. So I resent out the email, and that brings us to recently.
Yeah. So we have, what was there, 5 of us 8 there today?
Yeah. There's 8 guys total, 8 staff total who have now signed up.
Including you, Nick, and Jared?
Correct.
Got it. Yeah. So then there's
5 new people.
Me,
basically.
Beatley, Pelican, Scott.
Ben.
Yeah. Yeah. So prior to going into the first class, I was like a little apprehensive. But after going through like the first portion of the first class, like
the stretching and
I was like, all right, like this is straight. Like this,
did he welcome you guys?
Yeah, definitely. He made us. Oh, you weren't there.
No,
oh, yeah. He made us introduce ourselves. Came up and said hello to us individually. And that coach who was there today,
Rob,
saw that we were new and came up to us and said hello to all of us when we were stretching in that little room. So it was really cool because like I don't really know how to do a lot of different like workouts or like form or anything like that. And the guy Nick, for the first 2 classes that he was there and I was there, was walking me through how to do the exercises. Didn't make me feel too compelled to like do a lot of weight, because that's always the thing I've been nervous of too. Like I'm not very strong, so there's always like a less than type feeling when when there's younger women like lifting double what I'm lifting, So it's like But I think I've also, and now I'm at the point in my life where it's like I don't really care, like I'm there, you know what I mean? I don't really care what if anybody thinks differently of me, and I didn't get the feeling that it was like that either.
Well, and even today, I was like, do lighter than that. Like that's too heavy. Like
right.
Do lighter than that.
Yeah. It was fun being your partner. We had a good time. But I am definitely much more tired. It was funny. Like yesterday after the workout, I felt stupider. Like literally dumber. Like I was like trying to put sentences together and I was just like, like couldn't even get thoughts out of my head that I wanted to say. But it's good though. My body feels great.
So how is like the overall atmosphere with like the other people? Like how is it differ from what your experience in a regular gym has been?
Usually when I had gone to the gym in the past, I would be either working out solo or with one other partner. And then everybody, when you say you go into Gold's Gym or whatever gym, or even the gym in my high school, no one was on the same workout type schedule. Everyone was just going in and doing their own thing. Everyone's on a different, like maybe people were doing chest, maybe people were doing legs, maybe people were doing cardio. But at CrossFit, everyone's doing the same type of workout. So there's like more
camaraderie.
Yeah, and like a little bit of a community spirit that everyone's kind of in the same workout together. Everyone's going for the same 5 minutes or 10 minutes, and everyone's doing the same type of thing. The only thing that differs between people is the weight, which obviously that makes sense. What's going on out there?
Squirrel.
So that's the main difference I saw. I also really like. So another problem I had going into a regular gym was I didn't know what workouts to do and can't discipline myself. I don't have enough discipline as far as working out goes to stay on a regular regimented schedule. So having a time that I need to be there every day, which is at 8:30 class, I like going at that time, and having the workouts scheduled out, there's no thought involved. All I have to do is show up and just listen to whatever the guy tells me what to do.
And the workouts have been slightly different. I mean,
what do you mean?
Pretty, like, you know, like the first day it was way more cardio. The second day was more heavy lifting with the barbell. Today was like a little bit over the map.
Yeah, a little bit.
It was tough.
Yeah. But yeah, I like that how it's like it's broken down. Like you show up and they're like, "This is what you're doing today." And I'm like, "All right." And the benefit I have is I don't know what any of the workouts are, so I can read the sheet and I'm like, "Yeah, I don't even know what that is." So I can't like.
Is it bad or good? Yeah.
Yeah, I have no idea. I just base it off of what you guys say.
There is a guy who talks about like mistakes that beginner CrossFit folks do, which is like look at the workout and decide not to go.
Right.
But what happens is then you miss the whole programming and you miss the bigger picture, right? And then you start only getting good at things
that you're
good at, and you don't ever get, do the things you're bad at. So this is like, I relate a lot of this to recovery because I think that, what happens is chronic relapsers and newcomers they'll judge something based on one experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
What I have seen for years with chronic relapsers is, let's say they live in whatever, Cherry Hill, New Jersey, and they go to treatment and they can't get sober. So every time, there's a ton of flies in here, just for the record. Let's say that they can't get, sorry, it's like a squirrel. Like a
squirrel. Squirrel.
So let's say that they, they always go to the Monday meeting at 8:00 and then they go to the Tuesday meeting at 8:00. And every time they relapse, they keep going back to those same meetings and they go, not necessarily that they're getting anything out of it, but they go because it's comfortable.
Right.
Right. And there might be, and I've seen it a bunch of times where like, there's that other meeting that they're real serious at and don't go to that meeting or something like that. And people will stay away and not have contempt prior to investigation, not just go have the experience, right? It says willingness, honesty, and open-mindedness are the essentials of recovery.
Mm-hmm.
Think about how many guys you've met in your experience trying to get sober and then now being sober that they're not open-minded, right? They're not willing. They're not honest. You know what I mean? And it's like, and yet they wonder why they can't get sober.
Right.
And it's like some of this stuff with sobriety, when we're really looking at this, like, some of it's like these principles for some people can be so difficult, but on the flip side of the coin, it can be so simple, and the funny thing is like Brian is not the only staff member that has been like kind of poo-pooed CrossFit and is like really like enjoying it. And I'm not necessarily saying everyone should go out and try CrossFit, but it's like if you're thinking about it, and there's a lot of different ages, right, in the class. There's a lot of different strengths.
I think one of the women's like 70.
Oh yeah,
I think, right.
Yeah, we've got in one of the evening classes. There's a guy, Keith, awesome guy. He's a dentist. He just had a double hip replacement.
Really? So he's older?
Yeah, he's older, and now he's still coming back. I mean, there's a woman who gets some private coaching. She's got Rita, she's a sweetheart. She's got two like not prosthetics, but two like leg braces. Nick coaches her actually before he coaches the 8:30 class.
Oh, okay.
There's just like a ton of different people and ages and weights and body types, and it's not like what you think about which is like the same as AA. It's like normal people who normally wouldn't mix, right? Like we say that a lot in 12-step recovery. And, it's like if you don't try, you're never going to know, and, and some people don't like it because it is hard work. Like there's no question about it.
Yeah, I like that though. I like physically exerting myself. Always have. I did manual labor for 10 years on golf courses, and that was like I always enjoyed how I felt when I got home from work. Is that like I actually exerted my body.
It's great for people, specifically for alcoholics and addicts. CrossFit is great because we tend to be competitive people, right? Our egos want to prove to the world. We're egomaniacs with inferiority complex, right? We're like the greatest piece of shit that ever was. And we like to prove ourselves. And like, that's what's nice when you go and there's the camaraderie and you want to push yourself and then you feel good after. It's just like when you start to really get involved in recovery in this group that I did last week, we consistently what I talked about with these guys is like, how many people have tried 12-step recovery? And, almost every hand went up.
Right.
How many of you have gotten sponsors? 50% of the hands.
Right.
Of you who've gotten sponsors, how many of you have worked the steps? Another 50%. Right. So now like this group of 60
you're
guys,
down to like 5-10%.
25% have actually kind of tried.
Right.
Yet
kind of
for all intensive purposes, everyone's like, oh, I've done that.
Yeah. So I don't really know if that's like it's definitely with addicts and alcoholics, but I don't necessarily know if it's not just like a human type thing. It's like a human
yes,
thing.
Absolutely. But us folks in recovery, like we tend to, that is like part of the illness, right? Self-centeredness.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And that self-centeredness keeps us in a position of contempt prior to investigation. We know better. I know what's best, right? Like those types of things.
Yeah. Well, one thing I'm happy about is, so that's something that I would like to try to work on more is like, not having that contempt prior to investigation. However, what I am happy about is having the contempt prior to investigation, going to something such as CrossFit and then being like, all right, like that was cool. And then being able to recognize that I did that, like had the contempt or whatever. And then having like the humility to be like, yeah, like I was wrong, So that for me, that's even a huge step now,
Cool.
Whatever that's worth. It means I'm getting better, people.
Yeah.
It means I'm getting better.
So we'll check in
not
on
better, but I'm a little bit better.
Yeah, we'll check in on Brian's CrossFit experience as we move forward and see where we go. Next is our program director, getting Dan in there.
Oh yeah? Is it you calling him out?
We're gonna get him in there.
Huh. He works out, doesn't he?
He does.
Yeah.
He does. But we'll get him in there. All right. So if you're looking for help, or if you know somebody looking for help, let us know. We have a lot of resources at our availability. The phone number is 609-709-4205. You can also slide in our DM, Facebook, email. Also check us out at sobernj.com. There's a ton of articles up there. Lots of stuff coming out. Really monthly, we post a few different things. So, yeah, thank you very much.
Thanks for watching, friends. Bye.
Bye.